What's up, guys? Boy here. Today we're doing another video. Today we're taking a look at the Buck 110 Pakistani clones, or the Sportsman folding knife. Let's begin. Okay, let's talk about. I think probably all of us would be confused. Would probably maybe thinking to ourselves like, oh look, I got. Yes, this one's kind of. I'm calling this as a Pakistani clone, or the 110 Pakistani clone, because, well, you could definitely know the shape of it. Basically creeping up on it right here. But they're actually considered to be called as the Sportsman knife, but since I'm basically like to cash in on the 110, well, you could definitely know about this. So the sheath is, made in, Pakistan. Yep, made in Pakistan. Pretty much, the sheath itself on this is a little kind of like it. Difference are is basically have like brown leather instead of like fully black in there. The button is basically it's decent. Of course, the belt loop is a little pretty thin. The sewing is, again, decent. Let's hope it doesn't fall apart or rust quickly like the SC Co. Of course, a little pin on here, and of course on the belt loop, which, again, that one's pretty interesting. And of course, basically our folding knife itself, or the Sportsman itself. Now, this one I got without the sheath basically had a problem. This one just basically closes pretty instantly. Like, you can just have no force on this. And you could definitely know from these two, these are basically kind of identical, but another one that you could definitely know for this is, look at that. I think it's one of them is basically having a problem like that. But on the other side, it's like perfectly fine. I mean, you could basically a little tiny gap in there, but on this side, you can know that it's like completely wobbling. You could definitely know. Of course, this one is, again, basically stainless steel, which this is how you open it with the little clip point. And how do you close it is basically pushing a button about it. Or if it's something like this, you could just close it like it's... Okay, there's a bunch of pins on this, which... like 3 brass pins on basically all 3 sides, on both sides. Kind of has the same design deal, or the same deal like the 110, which is like have all the brass pins, basically multiple of them, have more brass pins on it, but not through it, which is probably a good idea. Of course, there's also basically brass pins all around, even including the big one all has a brass pin. And even a brass pin on the button to close it, which also another one is like right here, which I think it's like right for here of all things. I'm not sure, but you can definitely know for it. And of course, basically a couple of them is like made of wood. Again, kind of have the same construction. Unlike this one is these are basically separate brass pins, so you're not having like pretty much of a goal, like a two big ones. Instead, you got like multiple small pieces. And now the reason why I'm calling this as a 110 clone, because the 110, basically it has now this one is basically more smooth on the brass pieces and not basically, squared. Now I know that's a terrible deal to do it. Compare it to the original. But this one's basically very thin, much more of basically being a little bulky. Sure, a little bulky. But, I like ones that are basically pretty much good constructed. Of good constructed knives, which are like similar to this guy, the Felon, which again, that one's I always love to say how I like the more of the good quality built, which everyone does. I mean, everyone does. There's this one has a marking on that. It's like just an arrow to point in, or that might be like basically a mark or something. But weird enough that this one does not have it. You can see from it. Of course, it's now I know that's pretty obvious to see it. Again, if it's also, this one's basically... Now, this one does not... the other one does have that more of it pointing downwards. But this one's just have it stopped. Which, that one's the one with the sheath. There's a... You can also know, like, doesn't have, like, some problem like this one here. Like I think there's 2 pins on this one. Well, this one has one. This one's basically just have it sticking out. Yeah, there's another one. But, look at these 2 right there. They both have it, but this one I have is just... Oh, yeah, this one also has that little pin on that. These 2 pins. Also one on the top. Like, it's basically pretty thin compared to the handling on this one is pretty different. I mean, yeah, sure, it's a pretty normal pocket knife for that, but when you have something like the 110, it basically just better handling than this. Like sometimes it could dig ya. This one's basically pretty thin. You can definitely know from this. So, the size of the knife. Now, the size on this guy, now the blade length is basically around about of 3 inches. Huh, interesting. Because mine's basically is more of a 3 inches, while akin to, again to the 110's 3.5. While the entire handle itself, while it's closed, would be around about of nearly a hair bit of basically of 5 inches. While also akin to, well, again, the 110's basically of clearly 5 inches. Meanwhile, for the overall size would be around about of 8.5 inches. While also akin to the 110's 8.5 inches. So let's test these bad boys out. The results up there is, yeah, there's like multiple strikes, which is a little tiny cuts, not like actual like good cuts like the 110. Like it literally just like it's just like hanging from big old like thick. Let me show you. Like a pretty much of almost a like 1.5 thick. That's yeah, that's like just yeah, there was like multiple strikes with that, which and the last one was like that. Yeah, but it's not really like, you know, can cut through like you know, similar to oh right, yeah. Like the 110. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's not very actually like smooth cut like the 110. Which yeah, that's so the yeah, you could definitely know these are not like the 110, but it will be pretty interesting. So I actually give the Pakistani clones, the 110 Pakistani clones, an astounding of, let's see, a 6 out of 10. Because it's basically more likely on the level of, you know, onto that mentality. Yeah, it's a clone, but it could cut through some stuff, but it just depends on how you sharpened it or how sharp it is. And that was the name of the game. And basically for another thing of how functional it is or how tight it is. So that wraps up with the 110 Pakistani clones. I'm Martell Boy, and I'm signing out. I'll see you guys next time.